Testing. 1, 2. Testing. 1, 2. Okay. Getting set up. Take a couple minutes here. I got to get that thumbnail on there. Behind the scenes. Channel content. Live. Current live. Details. Upload a thumbnail. Go to my pictures folder. YouTube. Thumbnails. All right, I need to save that thumbnail. Did I save it? I don't want to put the wrong one up. All right, download. The quest for monetization, right? All right, so I'm actually generating a thumbnail. YT Funky. Okay. And over to YouTube. And I'm looking for YT Funky. Open. All right. So I could not do that beforehand, apparently, according to other YouTubers. So now the only problem is that the live symbol is right over it. All right, well, live and learn. Tomorrow I'll do a different one. Okay, so changes are saved. Check. All right, so the goal here is to create a funky new experience in Microsoft Flight Simulator 2024 for VR. Essentially, the goal is to control the simulator with Studio One 7 from Presonus, the Atom, and the Atom SQ, in addition to the DDJ 200 controller, the M Audio Oxygen Pro Mini controller, and the Korg NanoPad 2 controller. If I can achieve some of that, this broadcast, it's going to be a marathon. I'll be extremely happy about it. So I'm going to try to get a camera here, the EPO cam, and point that at the controllers so that you can follow along to see the process. Hopefully, it'll be something that you find interesting, exciting. You might control your Microsoft Flight experience with some MIDI controllers that you've got around the house. Or perhaps you will control other games or programs because the technique translates to other experiences. So I just thought it would be a novel approach to solve some problems that I have flying in VR, which is navigating using autopilot and also communicating with the air traffic controllers, because I don't have a path-through portal to be able to look at my keyboard, and I would prefer buttons even if I could see my keyboard in a VR portal pass-through. The buttons on the controllers are big enough, and I don't have to worry about keyboard chords like multiple fingers to do stuff, all I have to do is tap a single button in order to make changes to select menu options or to perhaps engage autopilot and whatever else we can think of. There are a couple of items that I would like to take care of along the way. The mapping is a bit of a tedious process, but I will be showing that and flying to test the mappings as we go. So it's going to be an interesting way to look at Microsoft Flight Simulator from a designer slash developer slash, hardcore enthusiast, viewpoint. And we'll just have to see how it works out. We did some mappings yesterday. I'll probably go ahead and test those out just to show you the direction we're heading in and how you can make use of the Impact virtual instrument inside of Presonus Studio One 7 to be able to play sounds when you click on buttons in the experience. And the sky's the limit. You could use voice samples, audio instrument samples, or even user interface button click sounds, what have you, if you go with this approach. So it's perhaps a little bit more than the typical Steam Deck implementation, but you would most certainly need to be using a digital audio workstation like Studio One Pro 7, which you can get at the Presonus Sphere online from Presonus. I have a subscription. I think it's about $15 a month, and it gives me access to Studio One Pro 7. So I'm going to go ahead and leverage that for something other than just strictly music production, flight simulator control. All right, so it's going to be fun, creative, colorful, but I'll have to bring up a couple of things in order to get it done. Okay, so the first thing I would like to do is move that off screen. I'll tell you what, we'll go ahead and ask Alicia to give us the headset and the earphones. Hey, everybody, don't forget, check us out, AliciaKeys.com, Soul Care. What? Hell's Kitchen, Broadway. Check out the, actually, Hell's Kitchen has released, the album's out, the cast, all their songs. It was really great. I mean, it's basically a theatrical performance, right? So I was listening to it in the car, the whole thing. And I was like, man, I need to go to Broadway and see that. But it is a wild ride. It's emotional, informative, entertaining, captivating. Kind of blew me away. I was like, never really imagined what it would be like, but the scoring in that thing was outstanding. So I wonder if they're going to make it a movie for those that don't make it to Broadway. Or are they going to tour the United States? Hell's Kitchen? Good question. All right, I'm in an interesting mood with the headset right now. I see a field of gray. Maybe long press. And let go. It's interesting the way things work. Okay. I'm fairly certain they're not doing a firmware update But when I picked up the headset, I think I picked it up by the volume button, and I did see what looked like, one of those little BIOS menus. And I'm like, oh no, what have I done? But it's a common mistake anyone could make, so I would think that it would be non-destructive, but it's still just a gray screen in front of me with no logo, no anything, just pure crickets. Let me hit the button, count to 3, and let go. That's scary because as a user, I have no indication whatsoever if anything is in progress, if it's going to, oh man, I'm gonna have to protect my hair. If it's gonna complete. Okay. Things happen, things go wrong all the time, right? Okay, we'll see. Let me check MetaQuest Link app and Developer Hub. All right. I think my mouse is too slow. I'm having to move it too many times to get across the screen. Okay, so MetaQuest Link and MetaQuest Developer Hub. All right, Developer Hub opens up. Device Manager says what? Glasses. Device detected but unauthorized. Put on your headset to allow access. Link beta. Status unknown. All right, what about the Link app itself? I'm going to go minimize everything. Windows D. Open OBS because I should know what's going on with my broadcast. Okay. Now, Link app. Meta. It should just foreground. Enter. I don't see it. That is a concern. Where is it? Developer Hub. And Link. Okay, I clicked the Link app and it is open. Home, store, library, and devices. Not connected. Headset battery low. Let's make sure that this is plugged in. Tell me. Okay, so let me tell you. Is it true? Okay. Okay, I hear something happening in the headset. I think that's a good thing. But what I have noticed as when I shut down at the end of a broadcast, I hold the button and then it says, essentially powering off, right? And then I put it down. And I also, as a developer in developer mode in MetaQuest Developer Hub, have turned the proximity sensor off so that it won't awaken if I put it like on top of Alicia's head over here and it thinks there's a person in it. Right? And then I feel I'm good. But sometimes I come back the next day and it's down to like 30%, 60%. So I'm like, did it wake up in the middle of the night and apply some changes? You know what I mean? And then for whatever reason, leave itself semi on or sleep mode or something. where the power drains. And that has been a concern. And I want to go to the forums at some point and find out what's going on, because I would think that because it tells you, like in the days where it does have an update to apply, it tells you to, it'll turn it off after the update. Please leave it connected to Wi-Fi and power it up, right? Which I don't like to do, because you shouldn't really leave the battery charging, past, some people say 90-95%, and don't let it drain past, 15%, maybe 10%, to extend the life of your battery. But I figure by the time that battery's ready to go, maybe I'm needing a new headset. Like maybe they got a new release. But I don't like to tax the hardware unnecessarily. But I'm wondering about that whole cycle of this cable is around my chair. Like that whole update strategy, I'm gonna have to get up. Like forcing people to leave their device powered on, typically overnight. You know what I mean? Just like, hey, I'm done. I'm going to sleep. Oh, don't unplug. Oh, okay. So hopefully it will be fully functional. We have stowed away the funkiness to the back of the bus. What? Okay, Pyros or Caribbean? What? Pyros or Caribbean? Vroom vroom, flag. Not that kind of pirate. I'm closing my eyes because it helps me focus. You have to do very careful. Not too tight, or I might pass out over here. I mean, like, I don't know. I don't know if it's the headset. I don't know if that dual rack was on too tight or what, but he passed out, man. Right on the camera. You should have seen it. Oh, shit. Oh, this is going to be difficult. Hold on a minute. Gotta get into character. This will be something that I can, tie that other thing around. Okay. Don't mind me, honeys. I'll be okay. Okay. Really now? Yeah, don't worry about it. I got it covered. What, your face? You can't cover your face, man. Okay. Now that's gonna work. I'm glad I thought of that one. It's a beautiful day. En mi negra. It's a beautiful day. I mi negra. Won't you be mine? Won't you be mine? Won't you be mi negra? Okay, boys and especially the girls. Class is now in session. We need some music. Música es mi vida. What? I don't know. I guess we're going Caribbean. Okay, we're gonna go Caribbean. How about that one? We're gonna go to Princess Juliana International to kick it off. Un momento, por favor. I hope back look, we get it done. If I can remember what button to click, I guess I need to start a Microsoft Flight Simulator. I'll do that one now. But how much further ado? Click it, and bang. I gotta take it off. You know, I'm a pilot of the Caribbean. Did I ever tell you about the time I met Lord Roberts? They didn't write the story the way it actually went. Oh, yeah, finally. 53% power. Okay. I'm in pass through, so hold on a minute. Let's see if I can make sure that you will be able to see. Can you see what I see? You know. Hold on a minute. Where's the mouse? Something is wrong with my mouse. I swear. I need to go to the Windows settings to control my mouse speed. It seems to be awkwardly slow dancing across the stage here. However, I won't. Meta Quest Developer Hub so we can see what you see. That's the link. I would also like to talk to Microsoft and ask them to restore the ability of users to move icons around the icon bar so I can organize these in a very findable manner. Because the way you guys got it set up right now, where we can't reorg the taskbar, it's not looking good, friends. It takes forever to figure out where's that damn icon. Okay, I need to click cast and hope there. 16 by 9. And hopefully that's in the foreground of the broadcast. Yeah. Okay, good. And now I'm gonna click cancel, continue, confirm. Thank you. Hey, if it works from here, I'll be a happy camper. Check. Okay, here we go. Get rid of the screens I don't need. Desktop monitor 1, monitor 2. All right, 2 monitors. Check. Pop out the broadcast so I can keep that off to the side as I monitor the window. I need to check on audio levels, so pop that. Hello? Hello? I hate it when that happens. I swear I clicked right here, but for whatever reason. Check. Hello? Testing 1 2 1 2. All right, I have to keep an eye on the audio level. Let's go ahead and pop that keyboard over here. All right, now, hopefully I don't need Microsoft Flight Simulator popped out. I think I could probably get away with just what I've got. Okay, so what doesn't need to be maxed? I don't need that. And I don't need this. And I need to get Studio One 7 into the foreground because that is the main character. They came up with a new logo for it. I think this is it right here. Check. And we will be using MIDI key to key. And yesterday's broadcast, we discussed key to key loop MIDI port being provided by a little utility program known as Loop MIDI, which has this icon. And it is a very simple program. You create a loopback MIDI port so that you can route your MIDI signals from, any device to any program, or from the program to, in our case, MIDI key to key, which has found itself on this desktop. And then the other utility that we will be using is the built-in MIDI monitor in Studio One 7, which is that little tiny button right here. All right, now, because I want to be able to see those other programs, I will go ahead and just snap this to the side. Click it. All right. Now we have Loop MIDI port. And so how it's working is I've got a bunch of MIDI instruments on tracks in Studio One 5, right? So I have the Atom track here. And did the instrument pop open? Yeah, I guess for now, I'll move that over here as well. And I might as well go ahead and move my Metatune. Okay, and I'll kick off Flight Simulator and enter Free Flight so it has a chance to load while I do other things. So we'll zoom in on, we'll go to Princess Juliana this time around. We went to St. Bart's yesterday, and then we flew to Princess Juliana International. So today, maybe we'll start on runway 10 and fly the other direction. Just have a very short flight. I think it's about 15 to 20 miles. And I'll even make it a flight plan. We'll use runway 10 to 10, set as arrival. All right. And then I'll even say start flight. Okay, so that's gonna load itself up. Now, back to Studio One. Okay, so currently I don't need to see that instrument. Give us some room. All right, Studio One has several virtual instruments, one of which is impact or the atom, right? And I've applied it to Atom Track, the Atom SQ, the Oxygen Pro Mini, and the Korg. And then also to the DDJ 200, right? So those are tracks associated with physical devices on my desktop. What? Okay, I'll do it in pass-through first. Okay, so here's the Korg NanoPad 2. This is the DDJ 200. That's the Atom SQ, and that's the Atom. Don't worry about this. This is part of Space Box. And then that's the M Audio Oxygen Pro Mini. Okay, so we have those physical devices, and they are connected to Studio One. I go to Options, External Devices, and here they all are. Korg NanoPad, QWERTY keyboard. You could actually use your keyboard as a MIDI input. Atom DDJ 200 MIDI key to key. That virtual MIDI port we created. We created an instrument. The loop. Well, that's from my Unreal Engine MIDI control. Forget that. And then Atom SQ and the Oxygen Pro Mini, right? So anyway, there's some mappings, what channels they listen on. This one, the Atom SQ, is listening to all MIDI channels, and it's sending its output to the Atom SQ. So it's like a bidirectional communication between the device and the program. Okay, so anyway, you learn about how to do that when you're mapping. But anyway, needless to say, all of these mappings are done because we just heard me click the buttons. And then on the tracks, right? All right, let's go to, I don't know, Atom SQ. Pick one. All right. So we look at the Atom SQ, and then I'm going to long press and release. And I don't want to see automation. I want to see the mappings. So the instrument is the Atom SQ Impact, and the input is being provided by the Atom SQ device, right? And we don't need to worry about the group or the layer. That's something else. Okay, we're not using it. Okay, so now, how did I get the instrument? Well, I hit the browser and I went to Instruments tab, and Presonus has provided us, as part of the subscription, virtual instruments, and Impact is this one. So I drag it and drop it to create an instrument track into some empty space over here in the tracks area. And then I associated it with, the associated device. And then you can choose presets to get sounds to play back. So we're using the presets that are built in to be able to trigger some sounds, and then we're going to be replacing them with sounds that make sense for the game. Okay, so that's where we're heading. This monitor that's built in, right, to Studio One by hitting this little button and it pops open. You can monitor the MIDI signals. So if I hit, I don't know what, that's my keyboard. Not my regular keyboard. If we hit instruments, right? You see the note on and note off signals, after touch and all that. Okay, my first question is, what is currently, oh, I was tripping. I'm like, I'm not clicking those buttons. I forgot. Okay, so I have a track that's looping right now. All right, let me close instruments. Just declutter. It's good practice to reopen stuff. Okay, so you can see that I have the play button pressed. Stop. So what was going on there was I maxed out the audio for user interface. I muted the game and then I recorded it on an audio track and then I looped it to listen to it back. I normalized the audio to make it louder. Then I decided to drag the audio down a little bit so that the waveforms, weren't too big or clipping or too loud. And then I hit play. And then every time the playhead hits here, we hear it. There's a couple off to the right also. Then it comes back around. And there you go. All right, so cool. I nabbed those from the game and then I chopped it. I hope again I'm not. All right. Then I chopped it this much because that's the piece I needed. And then I dragged it onto the instrument for the DDJ. So that was an audio channel that I recorded. Meta and Games, it's audio, so it has a different icon. It has that. If I click that, do I get anything that pops open? I don't think so, no. All right, let me go ahead and hit ready to fly. So that'll be ready. And then I went down to the DDJ channel 200, click on the instrument, let the window pop open, and then I'll try to move it over here. All right. And then I literally drag and dropped that chopped bit of audio onto buttons. Right? 8 times I drag and dropped it. And that, by being on the Impact virtual instrument associated with the DDJ 200, I can click on the DDJ 200 and there you have it. So what happened? Well, obviously these samples played, right? So we know Studio One is doing its job, but that's not all. For someone doing music production, that would be sufficient. We could stop right there, right? You could record that. Okay, but In order to control Microsoft Flight Simulator, we have a little bit more work to do. We have to listen for those same signals. We could care less what is being triggered inside Studio One because Microsoft Flight Simulator knows nothing about that. All we want to happen is for Studio One to forward those MIDI signals somewhere else. And that is to the loop MIDI port that we created in the loop MIDI little utility program. And once we forward it to that port, then MIDI key to key can say, I'm going to listen to that port, and then I'll take some kind of action. And what does it do? Well, it's MIDI key to key, so it's going to convert. My voice is too loud. I got to bring the mic down in my headset. But MIDI key to key is going to receive from that loop MIDI port the MIDI signal, the note on, the note off, the control signal, whatever. And it's going to map that internally based on user definitions that we provide to an appropriate Microsoft Windows key stroke. So MIDI input key to keystroke mapping, right? So that's what that program is going to provide for us. And then when that is triggered, Microsoft Flight Simulator is like, hey, I have a bunch of mappings of keyboard inputs to functions all throughout the aircraft and the simulator. So here's the definitions, and we can actually define those as well. But there are some sensible defaults, which is what we're using. We just let the application, tell us what the defaults are by going to the menu and reading. And then we say to MIDI key to key, hey, when you get this MIDI note, send out, Control E. And it says, oh, okay, Control E. So I hit the button over here. MIDI key to key says I saw C#3. And then, it passes that to loop MIDI, which eventually gets passed on the MIDI key to key. MIDI key to key says, oh, I see a, C#3. And apparently you told me when I see that, you want me to output a Control E. And it outputs a Control E, to the Windows system. And then Microsoft Flight Simulator is behind the scenes in its code provided by Asobo. Says, hey, whenever I see that Control E, I'm going to start the aircraft from cold and dark to, all avionics on, engine running, right? And as long as you don't change it, hitting the button on the MIDI keypad will start the airplane. That means if I know where the button is by, practice, right, in what I call the dark, wear my headset, right? So, for example, I know where these 8 are. Those are the ones I use to talk to air traffic control. Then I can have another button that hit that and my airplane starts up. I don't have to go looking for my physical keyboard. Where is it? Over here, which I cannot see, and try to find Control E. Good luck. So, the important keystrokes are the ones I'm going to focus on right now. And being able to communicate with the air traffic controller is an important first step, which we took yesterday. I would like to do autopilot today. I would like to also trigger the focusing of the Microsoft Flight Simulator app. And in fact, you can see right now that Microsoft Flight Simulator does not have focus because the window title is white. What does that mean? Well, as long as this app doesn't have focus, I could type on my keyboard or my MIDI controllers all day and no input is going to be received to trigger any actions in Microsoft Flight Simulator at all. I couldn't even type it to a text field. This is the main drawback of flying in virtual reality and multitasking today. A problem that didn't exist prior to, well, Meta giving us the wonderful ability to multitask in virtual reality and bring your complete computer with you, right? It's like normally if you start a game in VR mode, you're in that for the whole duration of your play session and you can't do anything else. But now I could go into Microsoft Flight Simulator and mix music. You know, I could author music, I could write documents, generate emails, thumbnails, you know, videos. I can bring my own computer and use the digital twin that Microsoft Flight Simulator provides as, you know, the world is your office. Bring the whole world to work today, you know. So there's no complaint, but if you're doing work and you forget that you didn't get focused back to the app, you could crash. You kill yourself. What? You be up in the air and trying to say, oh, wait. Oh, no, nothing's happened. Oh, wait a minute. Then you reach for the controller, which happens to be down here on the floor, which is why I have it, you know, affixed to an elastic band so I can at least reach down my arm, the chair's arm, and like go find it, right? So I can click and give this focus. And then I used to peek up under the headset because I don't have a portal. And I'm sitting here hitting the keyboard, trying to figure out where's the button, or looking at my yoke. You know, I have buttons mapped on that, or my throttle down there, right? What? Well, my joystick and my POTUS throttle, right? See all the switches. I mean, you know, flight simulation is hardcore. You know, I would say the most hardcore use case for virtual reality to date, other than, you know, remotely piloting, you know, androids that are going to be flown to, you know, Mars by Tesla, right? We're going to have a colony of humanoid bots, and we're going to have a remote drone pilots on the Earth gathering data, overseeing the operation. They're going to get shipped up there with a bunch of Legos, you know. Why? Because they got trained on hundreds of millions of hours of playing Minecraft. So it only makes sense, right? We're going to give them some modules that they can assemble on Mars and, you know, the ability to create airtight enclosures. So when the human away team arrives, there's some hope they may survive. Right? You got to go to Mars in stages, and being able to do this on a digital twin of Earth is the first step. You know, they got to go, you know, send the just folks up to Mars, well, you know, via satellite, you know, in order to map the Martian surface, you know, get a bunch of geologists and everybody involved, and then plan out, you know, the first encampment. How about that? What? Yeah, the use of digital twins and flight simulation. If you're not training on flight sim, you're not going. It's like you think everybody's out there making, drone piloting businesses for nothing. That's what that whole operation was. They're out there practicing, landing on Mars. They just decided to use the Trump golf course, the base of operations. Don said to, Elon, hey, why don't you get and use my place? We don't care what the public thinks. This is science. What? Don't mind me. My mind runs away from me every once in a while. I'll be back. Okay. From Mars? Okay. So that was my break. And now the work begins. I'm going to get warm in a minute. I think it's a combination. I got 3 fans. No, 2. Hold on. I need my head fan, man. I can do 4 fans. Hold on. Hit the head fan. This is the best invention for VR ever. Not only does it cool my fro. What? Well, it provides insulation and cushioning. Yeah, could you imagine you're out on, in the desert and you find a rock and you fall asleep and you don't have an afro? Oh man, you're in a world of hurt. Anyway, it cools your face, your cheeks, and it keeps a little bit of cool air just sneaking up into the headset so that it doesn't fog, but it's not enough to dry your eyes. But then this Bobo VR headset, as long as I have juice, and I think I still do, if I press the button on the temple, there's a fan inside. It's not as powerful as this though, but it puts a little bit of cool air. There's the beep on my brow. And it lasts the whole 12 hours or however long I sit here. So now I feel like my body temperature is being regulated, sort of like that VR suit the chick can upload on, what is that, Amazon Prime? In that comedy, she gets in the bathtub with water and ice wearing this suit so she can go visit her boyfriend who's been uploaded to the afterlife. What? 4th and final season. I'm looking forward to seeing that with everyone's virtual heartthrob, Andy Allo. Is it something like that? I don't know her name. Did I get that right? Anyway, yeah, it's sad to see that comedy go. It's one of those things where you binge watch the whole season. Like you don't want to watch it episode by episode. It's like, okay, I watched season 1 in a weekend. Why? I save up all my, screen time for that sitcom to come out. I did something similar when H Plus came out about, augmented reality, biohacking or whatever. Warner, that was on YouTube, right? Time Warner released that on YouTube, H plus Nano or something like that. And I still have not gotten, and several passengers in my Lyft rides have told me that I got to go watch Black Mirror. And I'm like, I'll get to it. I plan to. I just haven't. Why? Because I'm always experimenting and doing stuff. I I thought I would probably watch it during this break right here. I just haven't been able to pull the trigger on it. All right, so is that camera functional right now? Can I see my hands? Yes. Little body, big hands. Okay, so we're good. I'll take it that is providing a service. I'm gonna have to remove some of the watermarked stuff on the screen, maybe for the next broadcast. I want to jump into this, not be editing my screen, because every time I look at it, I see something that needs to be fixed. Okay, so am I ready to pull the trigger and into the dogs? Okay, here we go. Jacking into the Metanetter. Well, hello there. Who said that? You did. Okay. What's that series of three blue dots reflecting? And over here, is that supposed to be the moon? I got circles, man. Out of nowhere. What the fuck? What? I don't know, man. I see some dots. This is tripping me out. Like, is that some sort of a artifact? Is there a full moon out? I don't see a moon. Maho Beach. Maybe those are lights in the vicinity of the aircraft. Maybe it's a reflection of that light. Some strange. Could be. I mean, I couldn't say it's not. I'm adjusting my drone speed, but I do see the reflection. I saw it from out here also. Yo, what's up, man? You ready to go? I know, but it's gonna be a while. It's gonna be a long while, bro. He's like, must you fly your drone in the aircraft? Where's my chair, man? Boxes? I got it's like that, man. Shit. What the fuck? You didn't tell me it was gonna be boxes, man. I would have said no. What the fuck? He's like, I know, that's why I didn't tell you. You got I got a couple squat on a box. How much this cake paying anyway? Okay, so switch back into pilot mode. And I think just for the sake of testing, I'm gonna remove, well, I'll put it back. I don't want to break immersion. Okay, so now I'm gonna see if I can communicate with air traffic control effectively, just to test that we're still good from yesterday. All right, an excuse to fly, maybe? Okay, I'm not going far and I'm not going long. All right, here, put that out. Put that out of the way. And put that out of the way. Test. All right. This monitor, where's my audio? What am I going with? We going with funk? Funk from Clip Chat? All right, we going with funk. Check the level. Low. I don't know what key that's in. I did map those keys, but I'm gonna keep myself from doing it. Here we go. In the dark. Full throttle. I see the pattern. Cheats. Got the cheat code. We filed a flight plan and they decided to give us a ribbon. Oops. Active pause. I don't have the air traffic control window open. And I also want to make sure I would be able to hear them if they talk to me. We're gonna max out the gain volume for now. I hope it's not too loud. Good luck.